All right, Tess, I got these avocados out of the fridge. They are maybe overripe. I'm not sure. You might be able to tell there's a little condensation on them, so that's why they're shiny and drippy. But they're all brown. Um, and some of them have some, like, I don't know if you can tell, but this one's like indented. And sometimes this, where the stem was connected, you can like pop it off, and that one's nice and green, but sometimes they'll be brown and you'll know right away that they're overripe. This one's pretty wrinkled. It's pretty soft. We'll see if this one does. I don't know. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. It was a trick that somebody showed, or I saw on the internet at some point. Anyway, so typically what I do with avocados is I take a chef's knife and I put it right through the middle, so that's, I know that's about the center part, and you'll go in until you'll feel it hit the pit, and then I gently take it all the way around, and if you put it in straight up and down, if luck would have it, you go right back into the same slice from the top. So that one ended up perfect. And then one way to tell them if they're ripe or not is you turn them in the opposite direction. Oh, that one's perfect. Beautiful. Okay, so the most nutrient dense part is the part closest to the skin, but the skin is not edible. Believe it or not, the pit is, if you grind it up. I've never done that, and I've never bothered because it would be a huge pain in the patootie. The way I get the pit out, and I know for many people who are not aware, this, you'll see a bunch of people talking about how this is dangerous. I've never found a better method, and I don't think it's that dangerous if you are careful with what you're doing. So I cup the end with a pit in my hand. I take my other knife, or hand with a knife, and I just whack it in there to get into that pit a little bit, and then I turn it with the knife and it pops right out. To get this off the knife, sometimes I just hit this end of the knife on the edge of the trash can to get it to fall in. Otherwise you can sort of pinch and press like that and it'll come out. Okay, so we've got this perfectly beautiful ripe avocado, and this will discolor over time from oxidation. It'll brown. That doesn't mean it's bad. It just discolors, just like an apple after you cut it. You can reduce that by citrus juice. I don't have any lemons, but I can use a lime on this one. I often go ahead and take these out of the skin. You can just peel it. You can just start like peeling back, and this one is perfectly ripe, so this works beautifully. And this way you also preserve like the most nutritious part of it, which is this green part closest to the skin. This is really fun. I don't usually do this, but it's really fun. How would you eat this? A million different ways. The first thing that comes to my mind is I chop them up and use them on salads. You can mash them and mix them with other ingredients just like you would with guacamole. You can mash them and spread them on bread, like a spread like toast, and make avocado toast. You can slice them and put them on sandwiches. I think I'm going to slice this one because it's so satisfying in one piece. But this one, I'll show you something else that I do. I take my knife and I go right to the skin and I draw it. I press all the way down to the skin, not cutting through it, but just pressing to it. And I draw these slices. And then you can either scoop that out in slices or you can cross hatch the other direction, and you get sort of like rectangular chunks from this. If you make sort of a chunky guacamole, this is a really easy way to start it. Grab a bowl. And I like to use a big like soup spoon for this. Go right around the skin, and you can just scoop it in its satisfying glory out into your bowl. Yummy. Yeah, eat it right off the spoon. A little bit of salt, a little bit of citrus. and that would taste even more delicious. For this one, I'm going to slice it. I'll show you how. Let me grab my cutting board. So I'm going to start slicing it long ways like this, just because it's so satisfying. And then you could, ooh, isn't that pretty? Spread it on toast. Add some citrus to it. This knife, it needs to be sharpened a little bit. My little handy juicer. So yeah, that'll keep it from browning a little bit if you want to eat some now and put the rest in the fridge for later. The other thing that you can do for storing them, and we'll open up another one of these just to see, that one's got a little bit of brown in it. We'll see if that threads through the rest of the fruit or not. Oh, perfect. It's got a little brown spot under there, but I can cut that out. But another thing that you can do if you want to put this in the fridge is I'll use 1/2. I'll leave the pit in the other half that I'm not ready to eat yet, and store this in a container with like chopped onions. So let me think. I think we have, yeah. So if you've got chopped onion that you're doing at the same time, putting them in together when the onion is newly chopped is going to be the best for keeping it from discoloring. But sometimes I'll just throw it in with other chopped onion. You can try and cover the surface of the avocado with something like saran wrap. That can work. It's mainly exposure to oxygen that causes it to discolor. I'm going to drizzle on some lime juice. If you're super into using all of the different ingredients in your kitchen and you have citric acid, it comes in a powder and you can get it at like natural food store or anything, you can use that too. It's basically just the acids from citrus. It's completely edible. It just makes things really, really tart. So that's my tutorial on avocados.